Hello, I'm Kevill Davies. The other day, a local lay preacher in our community admitted in the local newspaper that he had been wrong in thinking of the church, the early church in particular, as being a building, when in fact it is a congregation assembled together for the worship of the God. When there's enough of these people, they have to be in some way controlled. There has to be some rules or codes of conduct, and this is normally in the form of the religion with its liturgy, its laws and traditions and myths. And it made me thinking that in this respect it has a lot of similarities with the codes of conduct of Mafia families. When you think about it, there are some striking resemblances. For instance, let's look at security. The churches give you the security offered by the fact that the God gives unconditional love to you while you're living, with the promise of eternal heaven in the life after death. In a Mafia family, you get the protection of the family against the authorities, against the possibility of prosecution, for instance. And were you to die in the line of duty, as it were, your family would be looked after. Now the question of respecting the institution. In the churches, they have the laws of blasphemy. In the UK, it was only repealed in 2008. But the blasphemy laws still exist in particularly Islamic countries, where you can, for instance in Pakistan, you could be subject to the death penalty. Even the Jewish faith, Leviticus, reckoned that people who blaspheme should be stoned. And this still goes on today. Never mind the right of speech. This is nothing. Counts for nothing when you're talking about the religious institutions. And the same is said of the Mafia families, who have the code of conduct called omerta, the code of silence. And this is such a strong code that the people who break it almost certainly get the death penalty. What about justice? Well, in the church you can be excommunicated, that's probably at best. Very often there's death by stoning and crucifixion in Islamic states. With the church, you get withdrawal. You get with the Mafia families, you get excommunication, if you like, which is akin to the death sentence, because without the protection of the Mafia family, you are almost certainly going to be killed by the other families for just being an ex-member. So it's virtually the same as the death penalty. If the Mafia families execute you, I thank Mario Puzo, the author of The Godfather, for describing the two modes of execution used by the Mafia families. And it's funny that they use two religious terms. If you are taken for confirmation, it means you're executed. If you're taken for communion, it means that you are executed but your body is never found. You are, as they would say, swimming with the fishes at the bottom of the ocean. And what about leaving the church? Well, in the churches it's called apostasy, and again this is akin to blasphemy. It's you're normally subject to the death penalty if you leave the faith of Islam, for example. It's a sort of betrayal, if you like. There's no leaving a Mafia family either, except in a coffin. It just doesn't happen. You're either in or you're out in the ultimate sense. Both these codes of conduct are fueled by the primal instinct of fear. They frighten you into remaining in the organisation and adhering to the codes of conduct. I think it's time, let's actually just think about this other point. When you think about the Mafia families, there's probably been tens of thousands of people have been killed as a result of Mafia activities. And yet the force for good, the churches, are probably responsible for the deaths of not tens of thousands, but tens of millions of people as a result of religious strife and religious hatreds. And it's with this in mind that I think it's time that the churches should unshackle themselves from religion. The churches, synagogues and mosques should throw open their doors and welcome everybody into their loving embrace. They should, instead of worshipping gods, mythical gods, they should touch on the spirituality present in every man and woman's heart. We should always remember the golden rule to give unto others as you have them give unto you. And let us help those that are less fortunate than ourselves and support those in genuine need and those that need comfort in times of great distress. Thank you very much for listening.